This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today I am going to set up a clusters and then run some of the commands which we required in Kubernetes. So let's sum up the stuff. So if I look at the architecture of Kubernetes, now we have master server, right? K at master, and then we have a K at worker server. In the K at masters, we have a few applications running, which is a API server, right? And then we have a etcd, and then we have a controller manager, and then last one scheduler, though few more are there, but that's not important for our discussion. In the worker server we have a agent, and agent name is kubelet, right? Kubelet. And then we have a container engine, docker plus container d together, right? Both you need it. uh, Container d. Now kubelet is there, docker is there, and container d is there, and proxy is there. Proxy, kube proxy we call it, right? Kube proxy. So these are the components we have in the each of the server. Now workstation, from where you send the instruction to the master, we have a kubelet that is in your laptop, or maybe any, I mean, you can make this workstation anywhere, that's not a problem, right? So now let's understand this. These all applications need to run in the master server. So now if you want to run any applications in the Kubernetes, you have to run in the pod, which we discussed last time. Everything is in form of pod. So don't you think like this application should be running in the pod itself? So actually, yeah, this application is running in the pod. Now the question is, if it is a pod, who's creating this pod? Who's instantiating a pod? So pod is instantiated by agent kubelet. So kubelet need to be there as well, right? Now pod, you have a container, and containers come with the docker and container d, so that also need to be there. And then container, the pod need IP address, so proxy also need to be there, correct? Now, so this is the whole relationship. So theoretically, though we talk about these are the components we have in the worker, but actually we have these components also in the master. Are you understanding? All of you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So it has to be there. That means master and worker, the list of tool set will be same. Okay. So there's no difference. Only applications will differ. Okay. So now the next thing is who will configure all these resources? Because you know what? If you run everything from scratch, step by step, and then set up a certificate, check the authentications, and all this port mapping, IP address mapping is going to take a hell lot of time. Hell lot of time, probably few hours actually. So how do we do that? So this the if you want to set up everything scratch from scratch, you must try, and this is called Kubernetes hardware. Okay, Kubernetes hardware. This is useful for learning and certification, not for the work. Okay, but we are not going to do that. So if you go to internet and search for Kubernetes hardware, okay, this is the one, and here this is a tutorial which has been created by the engineers who develop Kubernetes, and you can follow this whole documents, and you have a good way to learn this one in a detail. But we are not doing it. Why? Because we don't have that much of bandwidth, and no one is doing actually. So how do we do that? So in that case, Kubernetes has given one utility. What utility? And the utility name is kubadm, kube administrator. So kubadm, we need it, and when we run the kubadm init, this command will set up the whole thing. This one, API server etcd and blah blah blah. And when we run kubadm join, not this one, kubadm join, then it will run all the um, worker component. So let me tell you, these all are applications, and this is also applications. Okay, whereas others, all these are executables, need to be there in the system. Don't get confused. Application versus executable. Okay, so likewise. So yeah, so common list of tools should need to be there in each machines. And in one machine, when you do the init, it will set up the master component, and when you do the join in the worker, these machines will get attached to the masters. Make sense? All of you? Yeah. Okay, so in the workstation, what should be there? So in workstation, kubectl will be there. Kubectl is a client. Okay, so this client need to connect with the API server. Remember, every connections which is made to the API server. So kubectl, actually, you know what? It's there in the each machines, by the way, because internal components, they also need to connect, right, with each other with the API server. So theoretically is there in each machine, but you can use this one also to connect to the API server, this one also, or you can have a separate machine, let's say your laptop or something, to connect. And now kubectl need to know API server address and certificates, so where it's been configured. So there is one file which is under the user home dot cube config. This file is has all the cluster details and certificates and address and all, everything you have it. Okay, don't worry, this file has been created by init itself as a sample admin access, so we'll use it. But yeah, you have to learn how to customize later point of the time once you understand this. Okay, so overall, this is the whole architecture which you have to deploy. Now I must tell you here, this one which I explained it to you, it's a manual configuration for the Kubernetes. But nowadays, lots of automation has come. For example, cloud-based EKS, AKS, GKE, and more than 40 different options are there to set up our clusters. So I'm teaching you one of which, but there are a lot of ways. Okay, Minikube is there for the laptop. Okay, so many ways are there. K3x is also has come very popular in a container. So I mean, plenty of ways you should get confused, but ultimately whichever way you do that, you will get these components only. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a and set up a manual way. So for that, what I have to do, I have to create a two VM. So what I'm doing, let me tell you. So my workstation master will be one machine. Okay, and the worker will be another machine. So that way I'll show you. So let's go and create the servers. Now, which operating system I'll go for it? So I'm going for Ubuntu, but let me tell you, the instructions will change, depends on the operating system. Commands will differ. So it's not like one instruction will work for all operating system or even all Ubuntu or all CentOS or all RHEL. So that's the one thing. So we have to deal with it. That's a platform. Okay, so launch instances. I needed two instances and Ubuntu 20.x. So here I click on the Ubuntu, and here I need 20.x, which let me check which my okay, 20.x. So 20.x I don't have in this one, but I remember last demo I shared. Just give me a few seconds. I had created it 20.x. Where is that? Where is that? Just a second. So this is 24. I got it. So this is the Bunseed 20 is there, which I used last time. Okay. So let me tell you here, you can use 22 also and 24 also. Any you can use it, but actually you have to change the script accordingly, because some commands work in the 2020, the same command will not work in the 22, something like that. So right now I'm going for 20, recently launched, and I need a large 2 CPU 8 GB RAM, and here demo March 24 the key which I'm selecting, and allow for time being. That's anyways we can change later on, or you can select this one, and then disk I will go for 30 GB. Okay, and rest of the options will remain same, and then two machines I need it, and create it. Done. Okay, so I will go for machines now. So these are the two machines I got it. So what I'm doing now, and here one machine I'll make it server. Okay, so I'll not get confused, and another machines I'll make it uh, worker, API server, and work master, or let's call it master and worker. So first we'll configure the master. So here I will log in first. So I'm using putty, and then and demo, right? Yeah, demo, and okay. A username by default, it will be Ubuntu. So done, and then setting color appearance 14, just for you can see better, and done. Okay, so done, and we'll come up this one. So this is the machines which is ready for the installations. Now what I will do, I have all the scripts ready, and which I stored in this one. Okay, this repository. Okay, so we will use this. So for time being, first I will show you the repository. Here it is. Now this repository I need to update it. I think this one. Yeah. So this is the one, and yeah, this is the one. And here you have a cluster setup scripts. So here latest, previous. Latest means actually it's not a latest, to be honest. It is this script which will set up a master, and this script will set up a worker. Whatever I explained right here, it will be done. So if you want to really understand everything, you should read this. And here this is the hard coding done 20.04. So if you can revise this, you know, then that will be great. The latest version is 2.1.32. So we are installing 1.29. That's okay. So let's set up this one. So I'm going to clone this. So git clone, enter, done, cd and cluster setup done. Now cd latest and this is the to script. Now chmod 755 permission and then run this script. Okay, so source not found. So source not found. So let me change this script a little bit. So in this there is a one issues which I want to show you, this one. So I have to change this to bash because sh is having some problem with this. So bash, enter and run this. So if you remember, there is one command which I said which will set up everything. So that command, let me show you. Here it is. This is the command. This command will set up everything for the master. And in case of worker, it will be join. Okay. So it will be set up in few seconds because I'm doing in AWS. If you do in your local VM, probably will take 30-40 minutes. But in local, because you have very good internet and downloading and all kind of things, so it will be done fast. Okay, so there is one error which has come, and the error has come from the repository side. So it says in release is not signed. It's a security implementation has recently done. So what do we do in this case? So I have a solutions, but I need to remember that. So what I will do, there's a security things has been configured recently enabled. So for that I need to run few commands. So let me get it from the chat GPT for quick solutions. Okay, so here I need to delete this which was configured, and after that I need to run this. Okay, so let me run this, enter, and finally run this. Oh, dev command is not there, so we can ignore this one and then run this. Still that error is there. So what is this? Let me delete one more time and then update. Still that is there. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. I had a solution somewhere mentioned, but where is that? Let me look at this. This is APT issues. Okay, let me give one more try. Chat GPT, because there's one popular command which was there. So why it's installing 1.27. Just a second. I'm not installing the 2. And here 2.92, that's correct. So where is it? 2.7. Oh, I made a mistake here. So this one and this one, I will uncomment it. Okay, I don't need this. And don't need this one. And 29 is all needed.
Rajesh, this script we need to create, or do we have the official documentation for this?
You can use the official documents also, but it has so many steps, so I made it this one
Oh,
to just to save time actually. Okay, so 2727, I'm removing it, and here save it. Now I need to first remove this, and second one, this is the fix actually, but anyways we don't need that one, so I will modify this script. So in this 1.27, I remove it. Yeah, hopefully should be okay, but let's see that. So some the repository has been expired actually, which is 227, this one. So I disable this 2 and then this one too. I'll remove from the scripts also, so that way it should fix the issue. Okay, so let it happen. Now what I'm doing, meanwhile I'm fixing this. So bash and this one and this one, this one, and this one. So 29 will be okay, and this way we will have a differences. Okay, so now I fix this in the master. First, let's get this clusters up and running. Done. So clusters, you have got it almost, and let me show you. So see the message. Your Kubernetes control plane, which is a master server, has been initialized successfully. Now, if you remember, I said in order to set up a workstation, you needed this file, correct now? This file under the kubeconfig, correct? So they have generated a file for you. So they are saying, hey, if you want to set up a cluster with the workstation, means client, see this file is already there, created by cluster. This is having the certificate and address of Kube API server. So you can copy in this machine or different machines, SAP you have to do. Remember, this is SCP, that means same machine is being set up. But for that, if you want to set up in the work different machines, you have to SCP. Okay, this is an alternative for the setting of the kubeconfig, and this is for the network configuration, which we have done it. We have installed the networking configuration. So I forgot the name of that. I think Calico. So Calico has been configured, And this is a command. Remember I said join command will add the worker to the master. So this is the IP address of master. Okay, and these are the some hash value, and this all is other utility. So this command if you run, remember this command if you run in the worker, it will be configured the worker machine. So this way. So that's done. So master is set up, workstation is set up. Two things is completed out of this one. Now same thing we have to do in the worker machines also. So for that matter, let's get the IP address, worker, new, and auth credential demo and click OK and accept. Ubuntu. I'll keep it this one blank, black, so that way you will not get confused. Which is worker, which is master, which is workstation. So this is the workstation, worker minded. So here I have to do the same script. I have to run it, right? So, but before that, I'll make a modifications. So I don't want any failures here. So for that matter, let me make a changes in the code here, bash, right? And here I think this one not required, this one not required, this one, this one. This two repository is failing. Why? Because it's an older repository, it got deprecated and some certificate is required for that. So that's the reason we are doing this. Hopefully you got it right. Done. So I made this one and commit. So hopefully now it will not have a problem. And git clone and enter. Now here I will go for this one and cd cluster setup and latest and chmod 755 install worker, done. And it will take couple of seconds to set up the workstation. So this will be done installations and all, but this command will not be run, mind it. This command will have to run it separately because API server we have a different every time, right? IP address. Done. So workstation, all the installation is done. Now what I will do, this command I am going to copy and run this. That's all. And this command you run in multiple worker, it will be added to the master, that master. Okay. So there's a problem here. And it's not responding because, this IP address is reachable, but I have blocked this IP port number. So I have to open up that one on AWS. So go to the security group and security group is this one, right? And see only this one. So I'm following the bad practices, deleting everything and adding all traffic. This is worst one, but right now just to avoid the complexity. Only one port you have to open and done. Now it will be okay. Let me check master security. It's not taken or what? Worker. Probably remove this. Okay, done. So this is completed and now you see that everything is done. Join the cluster. So this is the story of setting up the cluster. Now what to do? You need to be workstation, which is here. So I want to show you this file also. I have set up the workstation in the master only. So you must see this is the file. The API server. These are all certificates. Okay, so now what to do? Nothing. Now you have to only deploy the resources. So kubectl get nodes. So we'll have two nodes. One is a master itself, control plane, and one is worker. Both are same margin, right? So kubectl is a command to do everything. Command line usually. You have a dashboard also, but don't use it. It's bad practice because you will not learn real things. So kubectl is the command line to do everything. Now kubectl is a command line for everything, but also it's very powerful. See here. So they give you that hell lot of command and with the basic tutorial, create, intermediate, beginner, intermediate command, deploy commands. If you are administrator, this command for the cluster management. If you're a troubleshooter, this command will help you, and some of the advanced commands and stuff. So now how do you know your cluster is up and running and everything is okay or not? So there's one command which is called cluster info. So if you run and you'll get to know, say this is the control plane is running on this and core DNS, which is a discovery services of the Kubernetes, is running on this. Okay, so everything is good, no problem. Now, how do you know which resources you need to know? So there's one command has been given, which is API resources. So kubectl API resources, and here these are all the resources. You must spend at least 30 minutes on this. Why? Because these are the resources you need to learn to use Kubernetes. These are the resources. One of the resources which I used to talk about pod, remember? This is the pod resources. For example, when you go to the AWS, you create what? VM. So when you come to Kubernetes, you create pods. So they're the pods. Okay. But it's a basic unit, I mean, starting unit, but lots of features are there. So if you see that, there is a one, let me snip it actually. So you have to understand this format actually. So this is the name and you have a short name, and this is the kind. This kind is for the YAML name, sensitive. So basically you can create a resources using two method. Okay, you can use command line CLI, using CLI, and everything you can specify on the command line. You specify kubectl and then rest of the things is a command parameter, or you specify kubectl and rest of the things you can keep it in YAML file also. Okay, So if you have one or two things to change, command is good. For the command, you will use this one. But if you had the YAML, then in the YAML you have to specify kind, and this is the case sensitive. First keyword is capital. Remember that, and so on. So YAML file, both the way you can deploy. I'll teach you both the way. Okay. Now, if you see that here, the version of API, and here is a v1, and from here it got changed. Why? So I'll tell you here. So total we have around 70, approx 70 resources. You can say 70 features, 70 API, and this all 70 API you can find at API server. So initially they wanted to group it the development, so fixing of the bug will be easier. So they made all the initial features as part of the v1, and after that whatever the feature they started coming up, they started naming as per the uses. For example, admission, applications, authentications, and these are the CRUD for Calico. These are the Calico one. Okay, it's not a part of Kubernetes, but when you install networking, you get it. And then networking core, RBAC authentication, storage related. So these are the core actually. Okay, so this is the things you have to understand. Now, one thing which you see here, namespace true and false. So what is a namespace concept? So namespace concept is very simple. Let me explain it to you. So understand this way. Um, what happened? So sorry. So let's understand this way. So this is the whole clusters. Okay, this is the whole clusters, and in this cluster, which is powered by multiple worker or master, whatever you want to say. So let's say in this image, 4 worker is there, and each worker, let's say 4 GB RAM is there. Let's say 4 GB memory and some CPU. So 4, 4, 4, 4. So total capacity of the cluster is 16 GB. Agree? Correct now? Correct. Now, I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So 16 GB. So now what we have are two teams. Let's say cluster is belong to the entire organizations. So you have a two product. One is green product and one is blue product. So blue product deploy their pod. So here it got pod, 1 pod, 3 pod, 4 pod. So this is running here, this is running here, this is running here, this is running here. So all 4 pod got deployed by blue. Same thing with the green also. They also deploy the prod. Now these two team and these two projects, they fight over the resources. When I say resources means CPU, RAM, storage. Because this guys say, hey, I want to use more. Or let's say this guy pod have some bugs, and bugs is consuming more resources. So now this guy is getting impacted because of that, because ultimately they are all sharing the same worker, right, through the Kubernetes. So they started fighting over that resources and access. Sometimes this guy make a modifications in this pod by mistake, this team will make a modification in this pod by mistake, so will stop working. So basically one cluster you need it for entire project, entire company. But the problem is each projects you have too many teams and too many products, so they will fight it. So what do we do in this, in order to fix that? That is where the Kubernetes is coming and saying, hey, no problem, let's divide this logical division, not a physical. I'm not saying, hey, you take a one node, I'll take a one node. No, not this one. Logical division, divide into the multiple namespaces, this concept of namespace. And I said this, you can only consume 4 GB no matter how many pod you run. You can consume 2 GB, you can consume 6 GB, like that. So namespace is a concept to divide, please hear me. Namespace is a concept to divide a logical concept to divide the clusters for various projects or team, so they cannot interfere each other. And namespace level, you can set the limit for the resources like CPU, RAM, disk, or whatever it is, network, and access also. So this guy can only access this guy can only access it, this guy cannot access these resources. So namespace is a logical way to divide the cluster into the multiple subunit. Are you understanding? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah. Okay. So now next thing is, so why some resources you have a namespace true and some resources false? So logic is very simple. Pod is a resource in Kubernetes which you need to create within a namespace only. So that way it is a true. That way it is true. Say here pod true. But node, let me show you a little bit down. Because node, you understand, node is a worker, node master node. And where is this? I'm not able to find it. It should be here only top. Here. Nodes. See here. Nodes is a false. Why false? Because if you look at this, nodes is a clustered level resources. You cannot create, you cannot assign it the namespace. So this node share among the entire clusters. So cluster wide. That's the reason it is said namespace false. So that's a concept. So this, you have to understand all these things because these are the resources you need to learn. Let me count it how many resources we have. wc-l and 74, out of which you can this one take it out. This is a networking, so let's say 10. So 64 approx resources you have which you need for entire Kubernetes operations, out of which 64 I'll teach you most important one, let's say 10 or something like that. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so now the first thing which I'm going to do, uh, just to get started with it, I'm going to create a name. I'm going to show you the namespace first. kubectl get ns. See, as I said, everything you can get through the command also and YAML file also. Okay, so if you remember, so command I'm running it and get. So these commands, you have multiple commands. See here, see here, create a resources, get, edit, delete. Okay, these are the CRUD. Create, you have it here. Read here, edit here, delete here. So using this 4 combination, you can modify CRUD to do any resources. So get ns. So these are the namespace we have it. So this namespace is for the system, means all the pods, which is for the Kubernetes. This namespace anyone common projects can use. This is for the administrator for node management. And if any pod is having no namespace, it's go to the default. Let me show you all the pods actually. Get pods hyphen hyphen all namespaces. See here. Now if you remember that I told you these are all applications running in the form of pod, right? So look at this. So here you have a API server. This is a etcd somewhere here, controller manager here, scheduler here. You have a two proxy because two nodes are there, and two pod for the core DNS, two network, two pod, two nodes, so two network, and this is the Calico networking. So these are the pods which is running right now, but we have to run more pods actually, right? So I want to create a namespace, my own. So what do we do? So create ns is short name, okay? Rajesh. I created not Rajesh but something else. So here you have a namespace. Likewise, you can edit edit namespace. This is a pattern which I'm teaching you, okay? And I'm adding the labels. This is the YAML file, okay? When you edit, so storing is happening in JSON, but you get the YAML file. So DevOps team, see get ns, and you want to see that describe ns, okay? Describe. These are the some of the common commands you need to remember. By the way, once you practice, you'll remember. Don't need to take a load. See here, and then finally delete this. So delete ns. Oh, what happened? Delete ns and done. See, so here I created it somewhere here. If you understand this, created. See that, edited it, deleted it. Now this ns, it can be any other resources. Here ns you can have it pod, deployment, services, replication controller, sets, stateful set, and a hell lot of it, daemon sets, many things are there. Got it? Only this will change and the other parameter. But YAML also you can do that. Make sense? So now I have to create a one pod. Now I will create the pod using YAML file. So what we'll do, I'll go to the YAML. I want to get a YAML file, right? So here, Kubernetes, I'll search for pod example and end of it DevOps. So for everything is a pattern. Everything I have example, you can find it on my website. And this is the multiple examples though, but one is sufficient. See here. What do you want? Pod. API version by default v1, it has not changed so far. You want to label it, name it, whatever you want. And pod has a container. How many containers? Containers. S, remember, only one container right now. Okay. And this container I developed for the demos. Okay, this I pushed it to the GitHub, Docker Hub, sorry, Docker Hub, and so on. So this I'm going to run this. So here vi pod, file name you can keep it anything whatever you want, and then done. Okay, name I don't like very big. Rajesh. Okay, and done. And how do we use this one? You can do create also -f. See command, you have a parameter. YAML file, you have no parameter, just pass this -f means file and the file name. And this got created in a default namespace. See here. Now it's creating this pod. This command, when you do not specify, it will show you the default. So now it's creating in the worker mesh. See created. Now if you want to see more detail, more options, you have it. And now you see it's running. So this is the container name, pod name, IP address of the pod is running. Because you are in a cluster, you can access the pod also. Here it is. See, welcome to, that's a container which is running inside a pod. It will not be accessible from outside. There's a way to access it. I'll teach you that. Got it?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have to, this is just a glimpse of it. We have to deploy a couple of resources and then understand. But you have to understand kubectl is a very powerful command. So let's say you don't know the commands. No worry, don't go for the Google and start searching for the, though you get it everything, you know that. ChatGPT is a faster. But I will suggest you this pattern. Let's say you don't know what options we have in a get. So just keep adding this one. kubectl get and -h. kubectl edit -h. kubectl describe -h or any for the sake of command. Enter. You have a very good tutorial along with the examples which will help you to learn this one and get confidence. Why I'm asking you to use this one? Because when you go for the certification preparations and all, it's open book exam. So this will be accessible So if you have a habit of using this one, it will be faster for you. But you cannot access the Google and over there official documents and all kind of things. Your own notes also. So yeah, this is faster. So what I want, I'll share these recordings in just 2 hours. All of you set up these clusters today. Okay, practice it, get comfortable with the commands, and after that I am going to teach you some of the resources which you need to practice every time while using Kubernetes. One is pod, another one is replication controller, third one is deployment, fourth one is service, and some of the other. These are the, you can say, 70-80% of the work which you have, and apart from that few more we have: job, cron job, and stateful set, daemon set, and few more which I'll discuss about. Okay.
Rise, are you sharing the previous videos as well?
Yeah, I'll upload it in. I mean, it's already uploaded, I guess. I'll share the location.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.